Hello and welcome back to the channel. Now these new Weller range of soldering irons have quite a good reputation. They seem to get good reviews and they come in a range of wattages. Now I thought I would try just the standard 25 watt iron and see how I got on with that, maybe getting a smaller one later on. Now this new range has a unique feature as it has 3 bright LEDs in the handle, which may be a gimmick, it may not be, we'll see later. Picked mine up from Amazon. You can get these things on eBay, you might just get a slightly better price. Came supplied in one of those horrendous brittle plastic blister pack things that normally tear into your hands when you try and open them. Not very friendly at all. However, that aside, once I got inside the pack, the iron looks very nice quality indeed. And so you get this little kit, but most importantly is you get 3 different styles of tip. You get a really heavy tip that's included on the iron, then you've got a smaller chisel head, and then finally a fine detailed point. And it's really getting these 3 tips that makes buying the kit worthwhile, because individually the price certainly adds up if you buy these on their own. They come pre-tinned and are supposed to be really easy and quick to change, so we'll test that in a minute, because that can also be a deciding factor when you have a soldering iron. Some of those knurled collars tend to lock on with heat and can be a right pain to get off. Also included is this kind of plastic picking tool, which I don't think I've got any use for. And then in the pack as well you get a very small roll of solder just to start you off. I suppose it's fine if you're a complete beginner. Yeah, I won't be using this, I don't think. I think I'll just go straight in the bottom of the box. A little bit sharp on the end though. And here's a little solder, just what you normally get to get you started. And then finally there's this rather curious pressed piece of aluminium, I think, or tin, which looks incredibly cheap. But what this is a kind of a small stand that you could bend this out and just gets you started with your soldering iron, just gives you something to sort of rest it on there. But I wouldn't recommend using this long term, and it's certainly going to get quite hot with the iron resting on it. So finally, moving on to the iron itself, and it actually feels and looks quite nice quality. It's got this sort of rubber grip here that gives you a nice sort of purchase, and it's fairly nicely balanced in the hand. It certainly feels quite comfortable to use, and it's also fairly chunky just for a 25 watt iron. It's not a particularly powerful iron. If I just get my other little, I think this is about a 16 to 18 watt iron here, and give you a comparison. This is sort of like a more pencil soldering iron, and it's a fairly bit more substantial than this small iron, which I do find a little bit awkward to sort of balance. It's not the particularly most comfortable thing to use. So just going to swap the soldering tip over now. As I mentioned before, it hasn't got one of those horrible knurled kind of rings. It's just a little screw there, unscrew it, whip out the old tip, put the new one in. Yep, job done. Quite impressed with that. Very nice and simple. Right, we're going to do a startup test now. I'm going to turn it on for the first time. So I think what I'll do is get my phone here and we'll just see how long it takes for the iron to get up to temperature and start melting solder. Now as a guide, that little pencil iron that I showed you, that can take over 2.5 minutes, probably 2 minutes 45. This one gets quite good reviews. People say it starts up really quick, so I'm hoping for a lot better out of this 25 watt Weller iron. And yes, the reviews were right. Yet really quite impressed. It's already like melting solder here. Very, very quick startup time. Just quick look at the phone. In under 1 minute 30 seconds. Fantastic. So finally, what about those 3 white LEDs? Now, to be honest, they're pretty bright, but they weren't as bright as I thought they were going to be. I don't know if that's a good thing or a bad thing, because normally I would be working under a magnified lamp. So, most people are going to have a work light. It certainly does focus just that little bit of extra light down onto your work. And any extra light, well, it's all for the good, isn't it? It's going to make the job that little bit easier. So overall, yep, quite impressed with this iron, to be honest, for the money. No real complaints about the iron itself. Going to be using it on a very small job with the fine tip, and I'll just put that video up next and you can have a quick look at that. Anyway, as for this video, as always, I'd like to say cheers, thanks for watching, and I'll catch you on the next one. Bye bye now.